these tissues in the right way. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Just as they said that a woman who impairs her kasuba is not paid except with an oath, and that one against whom a single witness testifies that is paid is not paid except with an oath, and that from the mortgage property or from the property of orphan she is not paid except with an oath, and that one who receives payment in his absence is not paid except with an oath. So too, orphans are not paid except with an oath. We swear that our father did not join us, neither did our father tell us, nor did we find among our father's documents that this one is paid. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says, even if the son is born after the father's death, he swears and collects. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, if there are witnesses that the father said at the time of death, this note is not paid, he collects without an oath. The following must swear, although no claim is lodged: partners, sharecroppers, administrators, the wife who manages the affairs of the house, and the son of the house. If he said to him, what claims do you lodge against me? And he replied, I want you to swear to me, he is liable. Once the partners or the sharecroppers divided, he cannot make him swear. If an oath was imposed upon him from elsewhere, they impose upon him an oath of the entire claim, and the Shemitah year releases one from an oath. There are 4 types of shomer: the unpaid shomer, the borrower, the paid shomer, and the renter. The unpaid shomer swears for everything. The borrower pays for everything. The paid shomer and the renter swear concerning an animal that broke a limb, an animal that was captured, and an animal that died. But they paid for loss or theft.
Okay. So, now, Amar l'shomer chinam. So, if the owner of the object says to the shomer chinam, hey chan shori, wait, so what happened to my ox? I gave you an ox to look after. Amar lo, mate, I'm sorry it died. But really, what happened is that it was it got broken, or it was captured, or it was stolen, or it was lost. Or he swears any one of these other things. I don't want to like go through the whole thing, because it's just all 5 possible combinations of different forms of loss. But nonetheless, the point being that the shomer chinam is exempt from all of these things. And even if he swears falsely, he swears that the animal died when really something else happened to it, or he swears that it was stolen when really something else happened to it. In all these cases, even if he takes an oath on this, he is parted from the korban olev yored of swearing falsely. Why? Because the oath only takes effect if the shomer is preventing himself from paying monetary damages. In any event, he's not paying monetary damages. Even if he told the truth, he wouldn't have had to pay. So since his false oath is not withholding any kind of payment due to the claimant, he doesn't have to bring a korban for it. Obviously, he should lechatchila tell the truth, but having sworn falsely, he is still parted from the korban.
If someone testifies differently than that, that is about his false false oath, then, or false information, then he becomes responsible. Then he has to go to Bezdin.
But he does not become responsible. That's the point. Is that even because the fact is that he says, where's my ox? He said, it died. He says, really, it died? Swear to me. He swears it died. And really, it turns out that the animal wandered off and that the animal got lost. But either way, he said, even if he told the truth, he still wouldn't have had to pay. So he doesn't become liable for it. He was a shomer chinam in the first place, and so even if he told the truth, he would not have been liable. Okay, Heichan shori. So it says the claimant, where is my ox? Amar lo, any of them. He says, who are you? What are you talking about? Why are you asking me about your ox? You never gave me anything. So now he's completely denying any knowledge of it. And really, he did get the ox, but it died, or one of these other forms of loss took place over here, which he's not liable for. Mashbiach ani, swear to me that you never had this ox. Amar Amen. Pater, he's still pater, because even denying having accepted the ox, which is patently false, even denying having accepted it is still he's still not going to be liable, because even if he'd confessed the truth, he wouldn't have had to pay. Hechan Shori Amarlo Avad. He says, it got lost. Mashbiach ani Amar Amen, and he says, yeah, it's true, Amen. The Adim Ma'idin also Sheachalo, and then come some witnesses, and the witnesses say, hey, we saw your shomer. He ate the ox. He shechted it and he ate it. In other words, he stole it. Okay. So because this is an interesting case over here. You would have thought that he would have to pay kefil, but all you have to do is pay the keren. Because now the witnesses have said, okay, you've stolen the ox, and now he has to pay. Now he has to pay it back. So in the owner's mind, this ox was an ox that got lost, and all that he wants is payment for the ox, and therefore he sorry, let the cat out here. All that he wants is to get the money for the ox. Now, look, what happens if he confessed by himself? If he said, "Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I feel bad about it, but I shechted your ox and I ate it." Now he has to pay the keren of the ox, plus he has to bring a chomesh because he swore falsely, and he has to bring a korban asham for having falsely sworn that it was lost, because had he confessed in the first place, he would have had to pay the ox. So
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. But
this particular oath is where he is denying a financial responsibility, because he actually did eat it. Okay, and now, which means that even a shomer chinam has to pay for that. Okay,
these are I just lost the word. These are Shevuos. So he's making a Shevuah on all these things, right? That's so very.
First, he took a shvua, and then he confessed that he took a false shvua.
Even if he didn't confess, these are shvua is very serious.
Yes.
If he lies and you're saying he's exempt, so he just like gets away with it. At least here, up there, he'll get something else.
But he gets away with it because there was nothing to get away from. He was pater in any event. So of course he shouldn't have made a false oath. Nobody's saying that he should have, but in this instance, because he did not deny a financial responsibility, he did not cheat the other guy out of money that was due to him. So therefore it was therefore he comes out pater. You shouldn't have taken the oath, but no, there's nothing to be done over here. But here, in our case, where he actually put his own hands on the picadon and ate it, now obviously he's going to have to pay. Plus, having sworn a false oath, he also has to pay a chomesh, and he has to bring the korban. Okay, so he has to bring the asham for having sworn falsely about the picadon.
Okay.
Hechan Shori. Now comes another case. He says, "Where's my ox?" He says, "Amalo nignab." He says, "It was stolen, and I'm a shomer chinam, so I don't have to pay for it." Mashbiach ani. He says, "Okay, I'll take an oath on it." Amar Amen. He says, "Yeah, okay, I swear that it was stolen." Now comes some Adim. Adim me'idin also shuk ganabo. They say, "You're the guy who stole it." So you've got two witnesses now who say you're the guy who stole it. Mishalom tashlumei kefil. So in this case now, he has to pay not just the keren, he has to pay kefil, because now the head of the owner of the ox is that I'm going to catch this thief and I'm going to get my kefil. And now come the witnesses and they say, yeah, this is the guy. And so having two witnesses against him now, he has to pay not just the keren, but he also has to pay the kefil, the double restitution. However, if before the witnesses came, he said, I'm sorry, I feel bad. I was the one who stole it. Mishalem keren v'chomesh v'asham. So once again, he has to pay the keren, he has to pay a chomesh on top of it, and he has to bring a korban asham. Okay, because here, if he's Mordeh B'Knas, remember Mordeh B'Knas is patur, so he doesn't pay kafel if he admits it himself.
Uh,
And we'll see an interesting case in the coming Mishnah. Amar le'echad b'shuk. So a guy comes to somebody in the shuk. Hechan shori sheganavta. Where's my ox that you stole? Who Omer? Lo ganavti. I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't steal anything. And witnesses come and testify against him that he stole it. Well, what can you do against witnesses? If you've got two witnesses, his denial means nothing. So that's a classic case where the witnesses bring him to court, say he stole the ox and now he has to pay kafel. Okay. And if they furthermore testify against him that he got that he's shechted or sold the animal, so now it becomes now he has to pay the 4 or 5-fold restitution that's specific to this particular case. So now let's rewind a little bit. The guy, the owner comes and accuses him of stealing, and he denies it. And now he says, wait, I'm going to get my witnesses and drag you into court. And he says, uh-oh, I'm going to be up for 4 or 5-fold restitution for if this guy if the witnesses testify against me. So he says, okay, I confess, I did it. Okay, he says, okay, Ganavti, he confesses that he stole it. But I didn't shecht it, and I didn't steal it, and I didn't sell it. So he denies that part of it. Now, so the witnesses still come and say, no, he stole it and he shechted or sold it. So now, because he has already confessed, remember Mordeh B'Knas, he's not going to pay kafel. And once you don't have kafel, it's impossible to put the arba v'chamisha on top of it because you need all of it to be. You need him to deny all of it in order to pay it. So the witnesses actually don't make any difference over here. On his confession, he just has to pay for the principal, and there's no knas on him because he confessed, even though he only confessed to part of the knas. He denied the rest of the knas. Nonetheless, the arba v'chamisha has to fall on top of kafel. This is what we learn in this Mishnah, that if there's no kafel, there's no arba v'chamisha. Okay, that was an interesting case. Let's go back to Daled Yud Aleph.
okay. Sorry, let's fix this over here. Okay, Daled. It almost seems that they're lenient on these cases, on some of these cases.
Lenient in the sense of that because he's Mordeh B'Knas.
Yeah, he shouldn't be getting.
That's simply because there is a case of that. If he confesses to something that's considered a class, then he doesn't have to pay. Yeah.
Okay, Daled Yud Aleph. If he said to two, I adore you so and so and so and so, that if you know testimony for me, that you come and testify for me. And they replied, we swear that we don't know any testimony for you. And they know hearsay testimony, but one of them is a relative or a person ineligible to testify, they are exempt. If he sent the adoration through his slave, or if the defendant said to them, I adore you, that if you know testimony for him, that you come and testify for him, they are exempt unless they hear it from the claimant. And if he says, I adore you, I command you, I bind you, they are liable by heaven and earth. They are exempt by Aleph Dalet, by Yud Hey, by Shaddai, and Tzvivos, by the gracious and compassion, by the slow to anger and abundant kindness, or with any other substitute, they are liable. Should they blaspheme me, any of them, he is liable. These are the words of Reb Meir, but the sages exempt him. Should one curse his father or mother by any of them, he is liable, and these are the words of Reb Meir, but the comment exempt him. Should one curse himself or his neighbor by any of these, he transgresses the neighbor's commandment. May God smite you, or so may God smite you. This is the curse written in the Torah. He may not smite you, or he may bless you. and he may benefit you. Rabbi Meir declares of libel, but the sages can't exempt him. Okay.
Sanhedrin, Ches Gimel.
Yes. If he stole from his father and ate in his father's domain, or from others and he ate in the domain of others, or from the others that he ate in his father's domain, he did not become a ben or mara unless he steals from his father and eats in the domain of others. Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, says, unless he steals from his father and his mother. If his father was willing and his mother was not, or his father was not willing and his mother was willing, he does not become a ben or unless they are both willing. Rabbi Yehuda says, if his mother did not correspond to his father, he does not become a ben mara sa'ara. That's wrong. Ben sa'ara ma'ara. Right. If one of them is missing a hand, or one was lame, blind, mute, or deaf, he does not become a ben sa'ara ma'ara. As it is said, and his father and mother shall seize him, which excludes those missing a hand, and they shall take him out, which excludes the lame, and they shall say, which excludes the mute, at this side of ours, which excludes the blind, does he not heed our voice, which excludes the deaf. They warn him before 3 and flog him. If he repeats his misdeed, he is judged for 23. He is not stoned unless the original 3 are present, as it is said, this son of ours, the son who was flogged in your presence. And if he fled before the sentence was pronounced and his lower beard then grew around, he is exempt. If he fled after the sentence was pronounced and his lower beard then grew around, he is liable. Ben sa'ara ma'ara is judged according to its eventual outcome. Let him die innocent. Not guilty, for the death of the wicked is beneficial to them, beneficial to the world, but that of the righteous is detrimental to them and detrimental to the world. Wine and sheep for the wicked are beneficial to them and beneficial to the world, but for the righteous they are detrimental to them and detrimental to the world. Dispersal of the wicked is beneficial to them and beneficial in the world, but that of the righteous is detrimental to them and detrimental to the world. Assembly of the wicked is detrimental to them and detrimental to the world, but that of the righteous is beneficial to them and beneficial to the world. But that of the righteous is beneficial to them and beneficial to the world. Tranquility for the wicked is detrimental to them and detrimental to the world, but the righteous is beneficial to them and beneficial to the world.
Okay. But Kama Zayin base.
According to 2 witnesses, a person stole, and according to them or according to others, he slaughtered or sold, he pays the 4 or 5-fold payment. If one stole and sold on the Sabbath while he stole and sold for idolatry, sold and slaughtered on Yom Kippur, sold and from his father, slaughtered or sold it, and then his father died, or stole and slaughtered and then consecrated, he pays the 4 or 5-fold payment. If one stole and slaughtered for medicinal purposes, or for dogs, if one slaughters and is found to have an organ defect, or if one slaughters an ordinary animal in the temple courtyard, he pays the 4 or 5-fold payments. Reb Shimon exempts him in these 2 cases. If according to 2 witnesses a person stole, and according to them he slaughtered or sold, and they are found to be false witnesses, they pay in full. If according to 2 witnesses he stole, and according to 2 others he slaughtered or sold, and both of them were found to be false witnesses, the first one pays the 2-fold payment, the second one's paid the 3-fold payment. And the second ones were found to be false witnesses, he pays the 2-fold payment, and they pay the 3-fold payment. If one of the second ones is found to be false, the second testimony is void. If one of the first ones is found to be false, the entire testimony is void. For if there is no theft, there is no slaughter and no sale. If according to 2 witnesses one stole, and according to 1 witness by his own admission, confession, he slaughtered or sold, he pays the 2-fold payment, but he does not pay the 4-fold or 5-fold payment. If one stole and slaughtered on the Sabbath, stole and slaughtered and for idolatry, he stole from his father, or his father died, and afterwards he slaughtered or sold, or stole and consecrated, and afterwards he slaughtered or sold, he pays the 2-fold payment, but he does not pay the 4 or 5-fold payment. Reb Shimon says, for consecrated animals for which he is responsible, he pays 4 or 5-fold payment, and those for which he is not responsible, he is exempt. Okay. Right. If one sold, if he sold it,
that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Tanis. Okay, Gimel test. If they had been fasting and rain began to fall before sunrise, they need not complete the fast. If the rain began to fall after sunrise, they must complete the fast. But Eliada says it began to rain before midday, and they need not complete the fast. But if the rain began after midday, they must complete the fast. It once happened that a fast was decreed in Lod, and rain fell before midday. And Tarvin said to them, "Go out and eat, drink, and proclaim a holiday." They went out, ate, drank, proclaimed the holiday. In the afternoon, they returned to the synagogue and recited the great holiday. On 3 junctures of the year, the Kohanim raise their hands to bless the people 4 times during the day: Shakris, Musaf, Mincha, and Nila. On fast days, on Mamados, and on Yom Kippur. These are the Mamados. Since the Torah states, "Command the children of Israel and say to them, I sacrifice my bread." Now, how can a person's sacrifice be offered when he is not present? The early prophets instituted 24 Mishmaros, corresponding to every single Mishmar. There was a Mamad in Yerushalayim, and Kohanim, Levi, and Yerushalayim, and Israel. And when the time approached for the Mishmar to ascend, the Kohanim and Levium were sent to Yerushalayim, and the Israelim assigned to that Mishmar would assemble in their cities and read from the story of creation.
Okay.
Here we go to Peah.
Nice.
Okay, we have Hey Babe. If one wishes to separate Truma and Truma Meiser jointly, he takes one part of 33.
Stop here. There's something wrong here. We're meant to be in hey.
Hey.
Yeah, the my hey.
All right. If one buys from the poor, so too. If a poor man is given pieces of bread or fragments of fig cake, he must tithe each one. But in the case of dates and dried figs, he must mix them together and take. Rabbi Yehuda said, when the gift is large, but when the gift is small, he separates the tithe from each one. If one buys from a wholesaler and then buys again, he should not separate tithes from one for the other, not even from the same not even from the same kind. And the wholesaler may be believed when he says they are from one. If one buys from a field owner and brought from him again, he may tithe from one to the other, even though 2 baskets, even in 2 towns. If a field owner was selling vegetables in the market, and they bring to him from his gardens, he may tithe from one for all of the other gardens. He must tithe from each one. If one buys stubble from 2 places, that's it.
Yeah, we did 3. There were short ones.
Okay. All right, and that's we are on to Caleb. Okay, Dalit. No, test Aleph. Regarding a needle.
According to my schedule, I think we must have done 4 yesterday or something, because I've got Ches Yud Aleph over here in here, but so we'll just do 2 today because we must have done the 4 yesterday. I remember we did that one yesterday, so let's go ahead.
On Tes Aleph?
Tes Aleph, yeah.
Okay. Regarding a needle or a ring that were found in the floor of an oven, but visible but not protruding into the oven, if one bakes dough and it touches the ring or needle, the oven is tummy. I remember this from yesterday. With regard to which kind of dough did they state this intermediate dough? If they were found in the coating of an oven surrounded by a sealed cover, if they are in a tummy oven, they are tummy, and if they are in a taho oven, they are taho. If they were found in the stopper of a barrel on the side, they are tummy. Opposite its mouth, they are taho. If they are visible from within it but do not protrude into its airspace, they are taho. If they were sunken into it and under them, whether like a garlic peel, they are taho. Base. Regarding a barrel that is full of tahor beverages and a siphon is in it, which is surrounded by a sealed cover and placed under the same roof as a corpse, Beis Shammai says the barrel and the beverages are tahor, but the siphon is tummy. And Beis Hillel says even the siphon is tahor. Subsequently, even if the siphon is tahor, subsequently, Beis Hillel reversed themselves to set root in accordance with the view of Beis Shammai.
Okay. That's us.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Enjoy.
Lovely day.
Lovely. I hope so. I was going to ask you something. Is there a way, like